You've made him so self-conscious about that. He's talking to me the other day. He was just like, I just wish I hadn't worn that hat and that shirt.
Oh, I'm such a fucking demon. Just everything I touch, like, oh, nice shirt. Oh! Just gets hit with his plague.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Poor guy.
What an interesting kettle.
Yeah. Yeah. I purposely left that alone. Like, oh, I see how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Delivering hate by phone.
I was being productive.
Very. All right.
Yeah.
I can't do shit, but I know I want to. Maybe if we talk about it, I'll find shit to do. I got a brain somewhere and you got one too. Da-ba-da-da, something.
It's like 15 seconds. I think it's like 30 at the minute.
Yeah, I think it's like 40.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Shit.
It's a long intro.
Right in. How long is our intro? Because we don't know.
We can't be asked. Let's just do it. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah. Late night episode again. Haven't got a beer.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
Not drinking.
Not drinking tonight.
No. Going sober. Well, my wife's away, so I don't need to drink.
She's away again.
Yeah, she's in London this week.
Oh, she's spending more and more time just without you.
Yeah, next week she's in Geneva. So,
marriage.
yeah,
It's going great.
it's really well.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, fun times. Fun times.
Yeah, no, going well. Lots of more kind of like projects coming to a head, and stuff's starting to go well. I'm at the brink of being paid with a lot of things, so that's nice.
Yeah.
So that'll take some that'll
As in freelance work that you've been doing.
yes. Yeah, because I don't ask for deposits because I'm not really proven at the minute. So like,
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It just made me laugh because you were like, I don't know if I'm any. I have no self-respect.
I'm
And you do.
yeah.
It's just, and I understand completely, but my brain just went, don't pay me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. But it's a valid point. I'm just a dick.
Yeah. But yeah, no, things are going well. I was talking to a mate literally like 20 minutes ago because he left, not the last company, but the one before. And we were constantly talking about like, oh, fuck it. Like, I goddamn hate this place. We just want to go and do our own thing. I'd rather stack shelves than do this. And now like he left to do his own thing and he's starting to like roll over now. He's doing really well. And yeah, I didn't leave. I was like pushed into it, but I said to him like I haven't done 9 to 5 now since February, maybe March. And I don't think I would ever go back to it now. Like this is just even though I don't have as much money, I feel like a lot of that is rewarding you for feeling shit.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like particularly in those jobs, like I was never earning enough to make me really attached to my job. Mm-hmm. I was earning just enough to stop me leaving it. Like this is comfortable.
Yeah.
And it was like that everywhere. Whereas now I'm definitely earning less at the minute, but I'm so much happier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think as well as you've taken more control of what you do with your free time.
Yeah, and if I fuck up, it's my fault. It's my problem. Like that you don't have those stupid things where you're trying to talk to other departments and you can't get anything done, even though you're doing your job perfectly right. Like nothing's working. Like I like having the responsibility now, where it's just like, well, if that fucks up, that's your problem. So just do the work.
Yeah,
and because it means you reap the successes of it as well.
Yeah, you're seizing an opportunity. So any time spent on that opportunity is giving you more reward. Yeah. Just emotionally. And just soulfully. Good for the soul. Yeah. Instead of, just, oh my God, I'm still here. Yeah. And there's that whole thing of the belief that you can't do anything else. Yeah. Because you're there for 8 hours. Yeah. And therefore the remaining 8 hours of the day are dead. Because you're just trying to accept that's your life.
Like you get with a 9 to 5, you get 2 days off a week, and most of your Sunday, if you don't like your job, is spent feeling like crap because you got to go back tomorrow. Like I think a lot of people just can't enjoy their time off.
I think it's you can get 9 to 5s that people enjoy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's the people fall into that resignation trap where they're just like, I hate my life and I don't know, I can't find the spark to push me into what I really want to do.
Yeah, I think the safety of a steady income is very addictive. Yeah, like it stops you from taking risks. Maybe.
Yeah, routine sucks energy out of you.
And the idea of like, if you lose your job, like you're like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Yeah. Whereas it's just do anything. Like go and like it doesn't matter.
It's just people get stuck in routine, and routines can be very beneficial, but you can't stick to them forever. Yeah, because your brain's not designed to work that way entirely. We didn't evolve by doing the same thing all the time. Yeah, so like you need something to kind of break out of it. And like the amount of people who are in jobs that they might like, but they bear. I'll say that they bear that job. Yeah, they then do silly things like start interest in like other things that don't really have any fruition, but just give them the pretend sense that they're being an individual. Yeah, I like coffee. I like all that kind of stuff. And that's just the first example that comes to mind. Yeah, but there's loads of stuff like that where you'd be like, I understand that you're reaching for something to love and reaching for something to be passionate about, but you're limited because your ambition and your self-worth is so restricted and bearable at the moment. You can't reach very far, so you're just like, I'm just going to take this, and I make lasagna now. That's what I do. I do it well. If ever I go out, I'm the lasagna guy. So many tomatoes. Yeah, I guess it makes sense to put tomatoes in lasagna. Isn't lasagna just spaghetti bolagnese without the spaghetti?
It's bolognese with bed sheets. With sheets of spaghetti.
Yeah. And that's just where they land, and then it becomes like, it's okay because I'm making lasagna on Friday, and then this is what it is. It's like, I'm okay because this morning I'm having my coffee, which you're fine. I was a little bit productive this week.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Partly because I said fuck you to all that meat shit and all that water shit. So I'm just drinking. I just went straight back on the sugar, and it's possibly the best thing that's ever happened to me.
So 4 days.
I did 7.
You did 7.
7,
and then what did it?
I got really sick.
Oh,
like to the point where you're meant to get sick. That's the point of the diet. I read one of the side effects of it, which I told you about, was the side effects of the meat eating diet is a creeping sense of certainty that you're going to die. Yeah. And I was like, that's not what I'm feeling, but I can see myself getting there eventually. Yeah. And basically the point of the diet is to restructure the way your body digests everything. So you've got the keto side, which is like you need to reprogram your digestive system so that it doesn't burn this, it burns that. I was already in ketosis because you get into it after like 18 hours. Right. And I was loving the horrendously metallic breath side effect that I always get from that. That's great. And you know what else? Smells like heavily metallic in your mouth? Just other people's blood. Yeah. So I'm just walking around with a lovely scent of blood coming out of my mouth.
A stroke.
Yeah. And then like the demons are like blood because they just get really amped up by it. And then just walk and then trying to do everything and and I didn't shit for 7 days.
Jeez.
Like that's. Like when I had my appendix removed, doctors screamed when I told them how much I shit. Yeah. Like, and I thought it was weird. I was like twice, maybe 3 times a day. They're like, "Oh my god!" It's like, what? That's not that. Apparently, you're meant to shit once a day. Yeah. That's the medical surgeon's preference. Yeah. But absolutely nothing. It's because I was eating, nothing. Yeah. I was eating 1 steak a day. I was perfectly happy until like day 6, day 7. Yeah. Where my body was like, you're not eating anything and you're not ejecting anything, but there's still like a little, because I'm eating so little, your body still needs to filter out toxins, which it usually does through waste. Yeah. So I just have these incredibly horrific upset stomachs where you'd be shitting out a very tiny amount of liquid and just being in incredible pain.
Oh.
And then have incredible trap wind because it thinks you're constipated, but you're not because you just haven't eaten anything.
Yeah.
You're constipated with your own digestive system or whatever it is.
There's intestines in these intestines.
So I was just walking around screaming.
Oh.
And it was just...
What's new?
Well, this was just more like... It felt exactly like when my appendix burst.
Oh.
It was just walking around going, ah! And then just like... it was fine bearable. I'd have like 4-hour windows of agony, which is like fine.
Yeah.
I can manage that.
Well, you had the tooth, so...
Yeah,
I think you're well prepared.
Stuff. Yeah, I'm able to deal with it in short windows. And it's like, okay, do that. Then we'll go watch some wrestling.
Yeah.
And come home. More agony. And then, I was like, my body was like, I don't want to eat this meat. And I can't eat beef anymore. My brain just goes like, no. Same thing I did at uni. I ate like loads of pasta because someone said, eat lots of pasta to bulk up. So I ate like all the pasta.
I remember you eating a lot of rice.
Yeah, but pasta was like first year. Yeah. And when I say, I mean, we used to buy 5 kilogram bags.
Yeah, the huge bags.
And I'd eat 1 kilogram a night.
Christ.
And it was just like, because I'm quite fortunate and cursed in that my brain is stupid enough just to kind of stick to one thing.
Yeah.
If it accepts something as true, you go, okay. So as soon as you go, you should eat as much pasta as possible. Okay.
Yeah.
Just eat more pasta. My brain just goes, I'm craving some pasta right now. And then eventually I just don't enjoy it. I don't crave it at all anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kicked that because, I was just getting more and more. It was getting worse. I was losing weight brilliantly. Yeah. I lost like 9 kilograms, which is 20 pounds, which is like 1.5 stones. Yeah. In 6 days. And most of that is just water weight, digestion weight, and all that kind of crap. But it was like, I felt lighter, felt better, but just not good. And it was all out of curiosity. I was just curious, like, you can't do this, you'll get sick. Yeah. And then I was like, I got sick. My curiosity's been satisfied. If I was a cat, I'd have been fucked. But I'm fine.
You didn't have to go back on sugar, though.
I haven't gone back on sugar yet. This is sugar-free still.
Okay, fair enough.
The main reason I kicked it was because I think mentally I could have gone through it a little bit more and maybe come out the other side. Yeah. But it takes normal people a suffering situation to evolve. I'm diabetic and lazy. Yeah. Like, it's going to take me longer as a diabetic to get through it all. And I've got stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. So I can't just like lay in bed for a week. Or they say like, book a week off work. It's like, I can't do that. Yeah. It'd be a week and a half or something like that for me. So I was like, no, just fine. It was interesting. It's kind of cool, but it's just not for me. So I'd be like, the best thing that's always worked for me. I just thought I'd try it out and I'd be like, I'll kick it. But the good thing that happened out of it was, one, it kind of reprogrammed my brain into taking stuff seriously again. Two, as we mentioned before, I was craving sugar like mad. And then we were like, after a while it works its way out of your system. There was definitely a point where it just like left. Oh, yeah? And now there's no craving for sugar at all.
Okay, that's good.
I can kind of see it and I'd be like, it's the same with any drug, like smoking. You'd be like, not craving cigarettes at all. But I could probably semi-force myself to have a cigarette out of forced habit. Yeah. As in like make an effort to do that and then re-enter that world. But my brain's like, I know that world. I don't want to do that sugary world anymore. So I can kind of avoid that completely. So it was definitely detoxing. Yeah. But yeah, my soul kind of broke. But it was fine. It was just all the blood. It's just all the... My dog loved the diet because like she always had loads of scraps. Yeah. She's like, this is brilliant. Keep it up. I know you're dying, but keep it up.
Well, dogs are happy with that, though. Like, dogs are...
I was basically on a dog diet.
Dogs are carnivores, aren't they? Yeah. Or are they... I mean, I know they'll eat anything. Like, generally, like...
They're like scavengers, basically.
Yeah, but they're generally carnivores. Like, if they had just meat and nothing else, they'd be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of dogs who just do that. Yeah. They shop responsibly. They hunt properly. Yeah.
Free range.
License. Yeah.
Red tractor.
Yeah. But yeah, as soon as I skipped that, it took me a while to recover. And then suddenly just joy re-entered my life briefly. And it was uncomfortable. Yeah. But it was weird. It just came out in weird ways. Yeah. I started doing a little bit more social media-y stuff. Because I was just like, there was some genuinely... The problem I have with managing the Pulling Teeth podcast social media is I don't like most things. It just put simply, I just don't like a lot of things. So like for me to actively engage... I mean, there's a thing at the moment that I'll probably tell you about afterwards, but me trying to engage with people that I actually enjoy engaging with is just wrong. Like, you just look at it and you go, that looks forced. And I go, like, I was trying to be genuine, but it came across, I can see that comes across as incredibly forced.
Yeah.
And there's not a natural engagement there. I don't work through Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, Nick likes this. Oh, what's the deal now?
The thing is,
I complimented you on your kettle. And even then I was like...
Did you?
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a compliment.
Well, I said it was interesting. I said, what an interesting kettle. Because you showcased your kettle with a gauge and a neck in a video. And I was like, well, what an interesting kettle.
Yeah, but that's not showing a genuine interest or a like.
No, but the mere commenting on your thing is
if it
an
had
expression.
been anybody else would have been like, oh,
wasn't even me. It was the podcast. The podcast was like, well, hasn't Steve got an interesting kettle?
So it was half me.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. So yeah, when it comes to, like, you know, I mean, there's loads of I can't connect to a lot of stuff. There's loads of podcasts that I'm sure are very, very good, but I'm so disconnected from it entirely. Say there was a Spider-Man podcast, and all they did was Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
And this is the whole thing, and there'd be like, there'd be demons screaming at me, looking at it on Twitter, and being like, I should retweet it because it looks like it's a well put together podcast. Even if I listened to it and I enjoyed it a little bit, I might be like, I don't know, it feels strange.
Yeah.
Like if I retweet, like everything I touch turns to shit sometimes. I love it. I enjoy all the time, but I'm aware that I have somewhat of a Midas plague, where it's just like if I interact with somebody, sometimes they get the wrong impression. They think I'm trying to kill them, or something like that.
Well, I have the problem of, like, I've talked about this before, where my messages and me talking online or anything just sounds really cold. And the alternative is, like you're saying, is to sound like people, as though, like, well, this seems like it actually gives across the air that I'm actually feeling, but it just reads as forced to me.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a weird fucking medium. Whereas if we talked about whatever the hell I was talking about with these people in person, it would be very obvious that there's no animosity or anything. It's just, it's weird trying to put that across, and not seem corporate.
And there's just people having conversations. I mean, if anyone's, I could probably talk about it, but I posted it in the Pulling Teeth chat room of somebody looking to be a guest on any comedy podcast.
Yeah.
Any comedy podcasts out there, and you want a guest, just send me a message. Which, let's go through the steps, right? Number one, fuck you. Right? You want to go on, you saying you want to go on any podcast that's comedy. You go like, well, do you listen to any of these podcasts? Do you know would you be a good fit for it? Is it something that works, or do you just want shameless promotion? Because if you're just blanket saying I'll be a guest on any podcast, it's just like, well, you know, who are you? And there's no personal relationship. There's no little message of, hey, if I wanted to be a guest on a podcast, I'd give them a message, be like, hey, I'm a really big fan of your podcast. We're thinking about doing something like this. How about we have a chat? If you fancy doing a collaboration or interview or something like that, let's do it. And that person is not going that far.
No, he's looking to put himself over. That's a wrestling term. That's like to make yourself look better at the expense of whoever you're against.
Well, yeah, and it's just, and then you go, the amount of effort that they'd have to go through. Already go, this person is not worth having. Without talking to them first, I go, that's just, no, I'm not responding to that. And then there's people responding, be like, oh, I've inboxed you. And you go like, oh, can people take your art? I mean, this isn't quite art, but it's kind of art. Yeah. You got to take it a bit more seriously, have a bit more ingenuity about it. And then I think, yes, there was just there's going to be a term for them. Yeah. The term for the normal people. The average people, not average sounds derogatory. The normal people out there being like, we'd love to have you on our podcast, mofo. That is, if you're not offended by me calling you mofo. Yeah. It's like, all right, fuck you. Just completely fuck you.
Yeah.
just the whole language. I just go like, I know immediately that I don't like you.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's first impressions. I'm always one for giving more than one first impression. Be like, move past it and talk to me a bit more. But just that interaction, I'd be like, oh, no, go fuck yourself. Yeah. And then the guy responds in the same way. Just be like, oh, given that, I've been around for many years, it's actually increasingly more likely that I would be a mofo. So, don't worry about it. I'm fine. And it's just like, it's like, comedy podcast. I mean, we might not be very funny to other people, but we find each other funny, and that's kind of all that matters. So it's just like, oh yeah, that's fine. That wouldn't work. Maybe that will work for another podcast.
Yeah,
fine.
Just
go for it.
Oh god, it's just.
So any interaction I would have had with that would have been angry gorilla demon, hate spewing, horror. Or just something that would just it would change the thread to be about the dickhead who said something stupid, i.e. me. Yeah. Being saying like, oh, anything that I wrote would have sounded unnatural because that's not a natural environment for me to be in.
Yeah. I would have had him on and been like, so, why did you say that?
So, you prick. Just, free exposure.
We could do that. I've got nothing against that.
Who are we invite losing? Him after this is published. So did you see the last episode? Because we said you're a dick.
Who are we losing?
Yeah, it's true.
We're losing him, and everybody else sees it and has been like, yeah, he's a dick.
What a twat.
Yeah.
And then there's just so much
reeks
of it.
of this kind of person that's heard like the sidekick on a radio show and been like, well, I could do that, but instead of but then my answer to that is like, great, so why don't you start your own?
Yeah,
like
just it was just again, it might just be our view of the world being so dim and just our own clouds of hate that are just making us think in a different way. This could be the right way, the best way, is doing something good or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't exist in that fog of smoke. Yeah. If I was to step into that, the room would change.
Yeah.
And it would just be like, there's all this thing happening, and then there's just a guy screaming in the corner. And I'd be like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. Like, you enjoy, you have fun, you do that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think, I don't know how you would feel about it. I was going to speak to you about it afterwards, but there's a good place to put it.
Yeah.
Like there's loads of like podcast networks that you can join to help collaborate and help cross promote, all that kind of stuff. And on paper, you go like, that actually sounds like that's kind of the thing that we're looking to do. We've tried to experiment with doing crossover / promotional stuff with other podcasts. We've had fun with it. It's been like, oh yeah, if we could do more of that, that'd be great. Maybe a podcast network would be good for that. Yeah. But there's just a part of me, and I'm just curious if there's the same part of you that goes like, I don't want to have an umbrella over me. Yeah. Just to be like, if they go, we, we're going to need you to take down the Mein Kampf speech from that promotion. Yeah. I'd be like, I'd just be like, all right, just, it's fine. No hard feelings. Yeah. I didn't think we'd fit. We don't fit. Yeah. You go ahead.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No, Bill Burr, the whole fucking thing. Yeah. Because, I
Sherry's berries all the way.
I want advertisers. Send me your reads. I'll read them, and I will rip the fuck out of you if it's stupid.
Or we'll just do it in our own way. And if you don't like it, then we don't care. Yeah. Just, if you fit, brilliant. We'd love to do more creative stuff. Yeah. But the moment anybody has any criticisms, there's part of me that if it's not in the right way, as in if it's something that's like you shouldn't, we're not actually covering the color purple this month, it'd be like, well, all right, you have fun with that. We'll continue doing our own thing. Yeah. There's definitely an aspect where I don't want to be held responsible to somebody else's idea of what podcasts or us should be.
Yeah, but
I don't know anything about podcast networks. My brain just goes like, no, it's like it's having something over your head.
I think it's a weird thing because it's become a hobbyist's thing to have to do a podcast. So now like loads of people have got them and they're doing them and everything like that. But I don't know, like I don't there's no one that I know. I know a load of people that have started podcasts. We've had loads of friends that have done them that have done them consistently and kept it up and constantly had content that at least they would be happy to listen to.
Yeah.
And yeah, on these groups and all of that, like they're always jumping on and talking about like production and stuff first.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing. And they're like, well, that's not quite how I would do it. It's like, well, fuck you. We've been doing it for like 3 years. How long have you been doing it?
Just to give an example.
How much do you care about what you do?
Well, to put it bluntly, we've been doing this at our own cost for 3 years.
Yeah.
We'd happily do it for another 3 years.
Yeah.
Given life, whatever happens. And if we do start making money out of it, brilliant. But I think we're always going to be at a stage where we go, no one's going to pay us to do this. Yeah. So if we get money, brilliant. But always be ready for when that all goes away.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah, we're just doing this for our own laugh. There was, and the idea of some of the obstacles that people put in front of themselves, and just the idea, there was this guy who wanted to ask people's advice on how much he should spend on an audio editor for his weekly podcast. And this was the question. It was basically, there's one company that charges say £1,000 a month, and there's another company that charges £200 a month. Mm-hmm. Which one should I get? Would the £1,000 one be better? That was his question.
Yeah.
And you just go like, I started replying, and I've already tried to articulate our editing process.
Yeah.
To a lot of people, and it always gets like aggressively taken down, fired down, because it's like our audio editing takes 5 seconds. I used to do it.
Yeah.
5 seconds. Just compress it, chop off the figure out where the beginning and the end is.
Yeah.
And then tag on the intro and outro is what we used to do.
Yeah.
5 seconds. It's all it took.
There might be sometimes when something peaks and I'm just like, nah, I'll bring that down. But
I never did that.
No.
And we did half the editing each.
That's the thing. Like it was never it's not doing that is not a problem.
So can you imagine paying anybody £200 or £1,000 to do that? And you go, no. And then you go, okay, well, what they probably mean is going through editing out every single intake of breath that can be audible, every single stutter, every single every single word that they didn't quite want it. And then you go, okay, well, what about if you're going to go through that level of editing, you're going to want to put the beginning at the end sometimes, you're going to want to reshuffle things around. Are you really wanting to get a producer that's going to create your episode out of the raw footage that you've made?
Yeah.
If that's the case, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
If you want somebody else to make your show for you and you just want to do the interviewing, maybe you just want to be an interviewer. Okay, great. That's fine. But it feels like you're then looking for something different. And then people just get lost in this. They want this to be a certain way. And as petty as it sounds, because I haven't improved on the umming, the R-ing, or the is my big one.
Yeah.
You go like, well, just improve. It's 3 years and I'm still doing it. And every time I hear it, I'm like, I should do that less. But eventually you start to improve. So it's just,
I don't even know if those things go away. I think it molds into being just part of your persona. I mean, I was talking to a mate last week because he was talking about starting a podcast up, and I said all the production stuff and all of that. Like, if you really enjoy doing it, like you'll pick it up. Like it doesn't. Anybody can learn how to do the production side of it. The thing that's difficult is sort of. Is learning to be interesting and switched on. Like I think that lowering the arms
it doesn't work.
Yeah,
that is not quite right. That's fine.
I think there's a definite difference in my recording personality from the day we started to now.
Yeah,
like I notice it hugely. Like and. Even there's something that triggers when you hit record. That's just like, well, everything gets louder and everything gets more announced, and the thoughts start coming quicker, and you almost go into like a flow state of conversation. But when it stops, like I'm pretty quiet. Like I'm not a huge talker. I don't know if it's the same with you because I always found you to be quite a boisterous personality anyway.
But there's definitely a moment of performance.
Yeah.
And I just get that trigger in a number of different places.
Yeah.
I get it when we start recording and stuff, but also get it when I enter your house and I make fun of your shelf.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just, I have quiet moments as well where I'm just like, I call it polite mode. If I'm meeting someone the first time, I'll be like, hi.
Yeah.
And then just like, yes, isn't this lovely?
Yeah.
And then, just...
Small talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think that's the thing that's difficult to learn. Like, It's not all the fucking production stuff, which is why it drives me fucking crazy when all the questions that people ask are about production before they've started doing anything. Like, so before they've even been like, well, what am I going to talk about and how am I going to talk about it and how's this going to be different to what other people do? Does it matter if it is different to what other people do?
Have I got the personality? Is there a market for it? Will people listen? How many listeners will I get? It's like, just fucking have fun, mate.
Do it. Like, you don't have that that kind of idea when you're learning an instrument.
Yeah.
And the people that don't make it. Yeah. Like, if you start writing songs based on like, well, what's cool right now, you won't get far at all. And it's the same with this shit. If you worry about everything without worrying about expressing yourself and figuring out what you really want from it, other than abstract ideas like success, then you're not going to go far, and your podcast is going to be shit.
So to bring it full circle, that the concern about being part of a podcast network is what if we were would we have to then converse with people in that same way, where they would be saying like, well, you need to, if you want some advice, you should really edit out your ums and ahs. You'd be like, well,
no,
yeah, I mean, great, brilliant, thanks for that advice. What I want to create content. That's what I want to do. Is there anybody on the network that wants to create content, even if it's just silly shout outs to Ragbag?
Yeah,
then it's just like, we can just do something like that. Not coincidentally, I just wanted to briefly address it. I was knackered last week, didn't insult Frank Burton properly.
No, okay.
So just briefly, I think the thing I thought of in a haze was basically he's got a short man's tongue, but he's got tall man's teeth, right? He's just a misshapen, unfitting box of a head.
Right.
Which is kind of fitting because even his own podcast doesn't fit into his own kind of personality, which is why it kind of doesn't work together like a Tetris block.
Right.
It works together like multicolored, melted Legos trying to be put together by a kid with no fucking fingers. I felt good.
There you go. It's been a week.
Yeah, I only ate meat. I was fucked. just had to. Yeah, it's there. But there's been some good podcasty stuff this week. Some amazing, and I can't go into it too much. I tried to try and find the multimedia for it, and I can't. It's just not that widely accessible, so I'm going to have to narrate some of it.
Okay.
But some amazing podcast stuff happened this week.
Okay.
There's a podcast called Your Mom's House, American for Mum.
Yes.
Your Mum's House. Tom Segura and Christina Pajitsky, both brilliant comedians.
Yeah.
And they do an amazing podcast. Not amazing. If you like our podcast, you'll probably like theirs. Yeah. Theirs is amazing. It doesn't mean that ours is amazing.
Yeah.
But we like this kind of format of doing stuff. And it's all kind of just silly jokes, silly references, and that kind of thing. One of the things they've been doing for a while is finding, with their community of listeners, crazy people in the world. Just giving out crazy advice. So you've got like, I found this guy on... It's the same if you find we would find YouTube clips that would be funny. We'd send them to each other. It's the same, but people using social media, that's their kind of medium now.
Yeah.
They find somebody who's like, this guy's giving out advice that if you take 12 Benadryl, you become like incredibly virile. But it's like, it's the new Viagra. And you send him a video and he's fucking doing NOS out of a balloon. Just wired out of his mind. It's been like, take 10 or 12 Benadryl. And smoke some weed, and you'll fuck for hours. It's just like those kind of crazy people, right? They find all this stuff. It's just fun. They do it for sound bites and everything. A while ago, they found somebody called Robert Paul Champagne.
Okay.
Who had an Instagram video of him topless with a handlebar moustache, American guy, just saying to Instagram world, along the lines of, if you're a black guy who fucks and likes to fuck good, or you're a thug, or you've just come out of prison and you want somebody and you're looking for a place to live, if you want a lease and a key, I live at, gives out his address, come round, piss on me, beat me, try it out. I'm home here right now. Just putting that out into the world.
Yeah.
Just an insane guy. Like, that guy's crazy. And then the podcast became like just subtle jokes about, do you think he's gotten anyone's come round in a while? Because he's released another video and it's in a similar vein. They're just following his story. They got an amazing audience, and they're just they found the guy's Instagram page, and so the audience started talking with him. Then the podcast started talking with him, and then they released earlier this week the documentary they made about him.
Jesus.
Where they sent one of their producers, who's a brilliant comedian, Josh Potter, out to go interview him. Just like a half an hour documentary of just like, we just wanted to get more into the mind of this man. And just, it's done so fucking beautifully. And you go like that. This didn't exist in the world.
Yeah.
This guy was shouting into the void.
Yeah.
These people were just making a podcast. And then suddenly there's this incredible comedy train that's happening.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful because, he's out of his mind, but he's a good guy. He's obviously got a good soul. He's quite happy, but he's like telling these wildly incredible stories about like how he learnt to love drinking his own piss, and he's naked. He answers the door just like with a camel sole or like a thin tank top, no bottoms, just completely naked. Sat down chatting to him. There's a film in the background of some guy. There's Murder, She Wrote in the background where some guy's just strangling people while they're having this conversation. And Josh Potter's he does such a great job of interviewing him because it's interviewing it in the way that we would, in the terms of like we're having a laugh. And there's one point right where Robert Paul Champagne says that he had sex with Freddie Mercury. And like goes about all this, he talks about the brief story about it and that, and Josh just goes, "Oh, Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen? Wow, that's amazing." I mean, was that before he unfortunately got infected with the AIDS virus, or did you not really care? Just go like, there's nobody would have phrased that question as perfectly, because it's perfectly innocent. But it conveys all the comedy in the ridiculousness of the situation, whilst being respectful. So just doing absolutely insane, crazy stuff and talking and being part of the community, and that was just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and then that was just great. And that when people talk about podcasts, I'm just like comedians behind closed doors is kind of my idea of a podcast. That's my experience of podcasts. Sorry. Yeah. And then just doing stuff, creating content with it, doing stuff in your spare time, and then when I hear people doing like, I do a paint review season where I just review different Dulux colours and how they work in different wooden houses. I'd be like, okay, no, that's good, but that feels like a different thing to me. Yeah, and that was just like, this is podcasting. This is what podcasting really is. Yeah, is just talking random shit, making jokes, and then going out and doing stupid shit. Whilst being respectful, but it's me with the insane things of life. That and Bill Burr started. He released a live MM podcast. I saw
a clip of it. I haven't. Has he released the full thing?
Yeah, they released the full thing. It was recorded like a year ago.
Right,
but you just go like this from the clip. You just go, this is such a good idea.
Because I saw the clip of him lying down on the couch and reading emails, and that was just so.
It's just such a great idea.
Because it's where his podcast is weird. It's one of those things that I've always listened to and been like, that's really funny. Do other people find that really funny? Because there's no like laughter, and he doesn't do it with anyone, so you don't get their reaction or anything like that. Yeah. So like to hear him just doing the same shit he's always doing, and like just massive amounts of laughter from the audience.
It's giving him more things to riff off. Yeah. It's just like it's just Bill Burr's like our favourite comedian. So it's just like personal probably hero. So it's just like seeing him in more of these things, just like yes, just brilliant. And then that's the thing where I got excited. He'd be like, that's what I like about podcasting. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that I would like. Yeah. I can social media about. And that's what it was. Was like, I can actually, that's something that I want to retweet because I want more people to know about this. Yeah. I'm not retweeting it because, our feed is just us at the moment and we need to get some, if someone looks at our Twitter page and it's just us, then it's going to look, it's that corporate shit I can't do. Yeah. It's like, no, if I'm just actually genuinely doing stuff, it's like, yes, brilliant, that works. To the point, I was nice to someone. I don't know how you could, I don't know if you can even see this. Yeah, there was this guy. And he's just someone that through these, through the corporate social media stuff, I think he just ended up being on my Twitter on this Pulling Teeth podcast account. Followed him, as in like, are you a comedy? Are you a podcast and want to connect with other podcasters? Do those every now and then to try and find new podcasts. And I don't even know him. I haven't seen much of his stuff. But he just said, I saw a post when I was doing all this stuff, and it was like, Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about stopping all this comedy stuff. It's a chore, feels bad, and I'm just kind of getting sick of it. I was going, no, mate. It's natural to to lose a lot of energy when you put in your entire self into a passion project.
Yeah.
But don't waste energy on chores. Drop the things you don't want to do and start putting energy in what you do want to do. Even Hannibal Lecter didn't waste energy on chores. And it was just, I felt like this is weird, nice thing that I'm doing. But it's like, this came from the high of, cool podcasting, cool social media stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, he wasn't expecting a response. It's just like, thanks. Yeah. You know what? You're probably right. It's like I was just high off of Robert Paul Champagne documentary.
Yeah, I can really change the world.
Well, just that, and I think there's a whole thing about. I don't like social media anyway, but the amount of people who tweet every day and get no response, like every tweet they have is just nothing.
All the time.
And it's not that every tweet you should only tweet if you're getting a response. It's just like, what are you? If that drains you, then don't do it. Yeah, just put your energy into something else. And so like deep down I'm a positive person, but it needs something to inspire me to get out of it. I was just weirded out that I did some social media stuff. Yeah, I even checked Instagram, stupid people commented on your video. There's stuff going on. Yeah, there's people angry about mermaids.
Oh, I know. That's weird, isn't it?
I didn't understand. I made a post, and that. If you want to see how shit I am at social media, I wrote a post trying to address that, and it just seemed forced and unnatural. It was just like, there's a lot of people who are angry about people who are angry about mermaids. Yeah. Punch some cheese. Yeah. Until it becomes quiche or something like that. Yeah. It was just like, this is a terrible post. But that's what that was addressing. Yeah. Was I don't care if you're angry, and it's because the Little Mermaid's being made into a real time film. And
she's now black or something.
Yeah.
Which
whatever.
Changes nothing about the character, so why does it matter?
Well, that's the thing. And then you go, okay, the people who are angry about that, I can kind of go, hey, you're fucking morons. Yeah. Go for it. If you're venting about that, fine. But people who are angry about idiots being angry, that's the part that I don't get. That's the I get it, because like we've already said we're probably gonna get one on the podcast. Like that's exactly what was happening. Was there was people having a discussion that we hate, and then we're like, well, let's invite him on and tell him to. We're that person, right? Yeah. But no, but so I can understand it, but you got to discourage it. It's be like, no, don't be angry that stupid people are angry. Yeah, because that doesn't. It's not. It's going to circle. It's going to tornado, and you're just going to be angry and you're going to be confused with yourself. Yeah. So it's me trying to address that. Yeah. Just that was my rant.
Oh, good.
Robert Paul Champagne. Just his journey. Even the document. It's just done so brilliantly. Yeah. It's just done so brilliantly. And yeah, it's the whole thing of it didn't exist and now it exists. Yeah. Nobody else could have done this.
That's always
with the way that they did it, with the genuine. Yeah, the genuine interest. I mean, they did merchandise because he became a big community icon for the podcast. That's Robert Paul Champagne. People are writing comments, quoting him all the time. So they made merchandise. Money they made from the merchandise, they gave to him.
Oh, that's cool.
But look, there you go. Here's some of our, some more of our merchandise. Just thanks for being a good sport. Yeah. About this whole thing. Yeah. You go like, that's a good.
That's really
positive.
Cool. Yeah.
Positive. You've put something good out into the world. Yeah. And while, yes, it is a joke and some people may be laughing at his expense, it's not vindictive. Yeah. It's like, no, this guy's crazy. He knows he's crazy. Yeah. Everyone's crazy. Yeah. Everybody's crazy. So, it's all fine.
Yeah. No, I think that's my favourite thing of, like, taking something that's like, gone from, like, passing conversation to actually being a full-ball thing. It's why... It's part of why we like listen to Bill Burr so much, is because there's so many snippets that you hear on a podcast that you hear, like, 2 years later in a fully formed bit. I mean, like, I remember when that was just a fleeting nothing. Like, just a passing comment that he made. And now it's, like, just this fucking vehicle of laughter.
But it's also, I think we've always loved
but Tusk as well, like the Kevin Smith thing, where it's like this is a stupid article that these guys read, and now it's a film because they laughed about it so much. Like,
but I think we really like the idea of anything is possible. So having an idea and then it growing into something else. Random example. After I finished uni, I think I came back and you and a friend had a bit going together of Sean Bean being Sean Bean's on
Connery.
toast.
Oh, yeah, Bean on toast.
Sean Bean's on toast, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was just the stupid Sean Bean bit of doing that reference between each other.
Yeah.
You just go like, what we love is having that idea, thinking about it for a while, and then a year later, Sean Bean's just coming round because he's celebrating the rap party from the Sean Bean's on toast. Right, well, it becomes a news piece, and then it just grows something that shouldn't exist in the world, because that's not how the world works, but because that's how our mind works. You go like, oh yeah, no, this is great. Just podcasts aside, I can't think of any media outlet that would have covered Robert Paul Champagne openly talking to the world, asking for black guys just out of prison who need someone to punch, piss on, and he's just like, hey, I'm kinky. This is what I want, and he's putting it out into the world. Yeah, no one else would be like, oh no, breaches, broadcasting, all that kind of stuff. No, podcasts are just like, maybe just do this.
It's like the Wild
right
West.
People do
it's
it.
Just it's the last kind of. Because even internet stuff like social media is like rampantly censored now. This is like one of the last mediums where you can just be like, nah, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I can talk about whatever the hell I want. Yeah, like it doesn't matter. And even YouTube stuff, like heavily censored now. Shit's getting taken off all the time.
It's only going to get worse over time. Yeah, to the point where some new YouTube will come out.
Yeah. Whereas this, I don't know how you'll ever really control this. There's so many different companies that do it all. There's no big monopoly. Yeah. Apple's been hugely kind of anti fucking with people's privacy. So they're never gonna. That's it's Joe Rogan mentioned that the other day. It's why their map software sucks so much compared to Google, because they don't take any of your information. So they don't know they don't know where.
They're not listening to everything you say.
Yeah.
This traffic's bad.
Yeah.
Google's telling people the traffic's bad.
Yeah. So I think podcasting's going to be quite free for quite a while. I can't think of what's going to come in and kind of
because you go like YouTube,
sterilize it.
Right, because we're on YouTube. I thought about this briefly earlier today, along the same lines, and it was like, okay, if YouTube, if we weren't allowed to be on YouTube anymore. It's a stupid, ridiculous thing to think. Yeah. But for whatever reason, you go like, oh, there's loads of other video stuff we could go on, but it wouldn't be as public. It would be kind of more underground because it's just not as popular thing. But yeah, the audio side of it, you go, no, and the audio is exactly the same as the video. Yeah. I can't imagine the audio being taken away. No. Because it does seem pretty free. Yeah. And it just seems great. It just seems like, it seems good. And again, removing the idea of there's a certain way to do something. I was watching. There was the Women's World Cup was recently. The US won. Yeah, and I saw an article. I find all my articles on social media sites. That's the only thing I use them for, really. And promoting the podcast. And one of the articles I said was the Women's World Cup brought in more viewers than the Men's World Cup by like 4 times the amount. And I was like, what? That's insane. No. Look into it a little bit more, and then they go, okay, we're just America. You go, okay. Americans probably didn't watch much World Cup soccer. Yeah. And then you go, and they're actually basing this off of Nielsen boxes, which are like a weird American. I only know about it through shows making fun of Nielsen boxes. Yeah. And it's just some people write in and request to have a Nielsen box, which monitors everything that you watch and everything that what time you're watching it, and sends it off to somebody. Yeah. So you have to be they're still using Nielsen boxes, which were used in the 70s. Yeah. And it's still being used today, and that's what they're basing their broadcasting statistics off of. And you go like, okay, if you're still working on 70s technology and 70s audiences, because I can't imagine, even if they offered you some money off for having a Nielsen box, which is probably how they work, right? You get free cable if we can just monitor all the cable that you watch. People who do that aren't going to be the people who answer polls aren't necessarily representative of people. Is the point. Yeah. And you go like, well, if you're still doing that, then television is just this weird place. And then you've got the same thing with radio, and then it gets bigger and bigger.
The whole theory's broken anyway, because America got to the finals. So America's going to keep watching. Like if the US I don't know what happened in the Men's World Cup, but if the US got knocked out, I imagine because it's not a huge kind of market for football. Yeah, most of them will have stopped watching.
Yeah.
Like, now, if the women's team got knocked out pretty early, probably same.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched World Cup for a long time. I don't know whether America's gotten very far in it at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just the thing that they're basing this off of Nielsen boxes. It's just like how... I mean, Family Guy made fun of you in 2003.
Yeah.
Or whenever it was.
It's antiquated.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was antiquated then. Now it's just... Like, it's an estimate. It's like, well, that's it. It's a poll. It's taking like a small sample and using that to predict what everyone's done.
And it's just how strange it is that that's what television is. And you think, there's so many weird things about television. And then you just go, the further away you get to it, and podcasts been done by the right people, not necessarily us, but the good people, you go like, this something beautiful can still be done. And there was this evidence to me in that. And I was like, that gave me a little bit of inspiration to run with.
Yeah.
To the point, I tweeted people, did all that kind of social media stuff. That was my interesting week. I've got loads of news articles.
Oh.
What time were we on? Like 50?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay. It's an event. This is what happens when you stop not eating.
Yeah.
And start eating cabbage. Your body just gets reactivated.
Yeah. You've unclogged, but from the wrong half.
Yeah. My brain has opened. Okay, we've got a slight, probably a little quick one here, which I need to find, because I've got this.
People resuscitating a man who's had an accident. Feel good stories.
So there's 3 paramedics attending a man on a stretcher in the middle of the road during a car crash. With this slowly zooming in from above. Feel good stories. Because I've done a few of these now.
That's the best one in a while.
Took me ages to find the music. Still not sure if it's right.
No, that works, I think.
Because I've done a few of these now, and I feel like it's going to be more of a thing. And I think I'll evolve it a little bit later. I'll just start off. This is how the article starts. I've always been accident prone. Spilling coffee down white blouses or smashing glasses all the time. But what happened on that May morning in 2016 went far beyond my usual clumsiness. It was a devastating accident that at 25 years old would change my life forever.
Feel good stories.
Yeah, so this is from the same people who brought you, and I quote, this wasn't what the article was called when I reported it, but it's what it's called now. I killed my classmate with a javelin on sports day. It's from The Guardian.
See, this is what I was saying to you the other day, man. They change the headlines and change them and change them and keep testing them until they find one that garners the most audiences, and it's always the most shocking, ridiculous one.
Well, not always. Sometimes they change the whole article. They kind of go, oh, that's too far. Because I've had to now start manually typing the current headline with every link that I do so that I know, because I've looked at articles, why did I find this funny? Why did I bookmark this?
Yeah.
And it's like, because it had a hilarious title that they've now changed. Anyway, the previous article I read was I killed my classmate with a javelin on sports day, and this one is called I went jogging and lost my leg.
Feel good stories.
Yeah, feel good. I'm not even going to tell you the whole story. The whole story is kind of nothing, really.
Right.
A woman went running, tripped over, and through very bad luck, lost her leg.
Right.
And doctors were like, but you just tripped over. Like, yeah. The chances of this being this bad are so low. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then they had to cut off her leg.
Feel good?
Yeah, now she's like, oh, it's good. I've changed. I've evolved.
Yeah.
I've survived.
Right.
It's a good story.
Okay.
But she lost the leg. Another feel-good stories. Dead sailors stopped a planetary catastrophe aboard a secret submarine, a top Russian naval officer said.
Okay.
Just dead sailors. Put more dead sailors in. A top Russian naval officer said 14 Russian sailors who died in a fire aboard a secret Russian submarine last week sacrificed themselves to pretend a catastrophe on a planetary scale. It's all very noble, very feel-good. Mm-hmm. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said last week that the submarine's nuclear reactor survived the fire because the crew took necessary measures to protect it. So I think they're a nuclear submarine. It was on fire, and if it continued to go on fire, the world would end. And this just happened. And they don't tell you much, but I can only assume they just opened up the submarine and flooded it to put out the fire.
Okay.
There was a fire.
And all died in the process.
Or they got rid of all the oxygen or something, but they sacrificed themselves so that it wouldn't explode. But the thing that I find funny about it, they go on, the July 1st incident remains a mystery. Russia has declared the details a state secret. Peskov said last week that all the information about the submarine and its mission were classified at the highest level. Even the funeral was a secret. So I like that secret agents and secret war crimes have got their own secret funerals.
Jesus.
How does that work? How do you have a secret? Don't tell anyone. But your husband's dead. Guys, yeah, I've got to. Yeah, you know your dad's been away on painting and decorating, whatever we said we were doing. He's
secret painting and decorating.
He's dead. They'll say it's in a nuclear submarine. Right, we're having a funeral. We won't tell you where or when. We'll just grab you.
Yeah.
Then you can go and grieve.
Yeah.
How do they deal with the funeral? The funeral parlor? I don't know.
Don't know.
It's a secret funeral.
Just surrounded by a giant CIA tent or something.
Yeah. Ordinary funeral.
Yeah.
Big sign around the whole thing. That was some of the quick ones. A man who was set to be the first Afronaut was killed in a bike crash.
Afronaut?
Apparently the first black man in space. The black African in space.
Okay.
He was a DJ who just won a chance to be the first black African guy in space.
And then he died.
A motorcycle accident.
Jesus.
Feel good stories.
And did he find out while he was on the bike? I'm going to space!
Afronaut! That was the article. It was this, man who wants to be an Afronaut. That was the article, that headline that changed. It said, man to be first black African in space, set to be killed in a motorcycle accident. And I was like, what? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They changed it in the edit post. Yeah. But it's like, so they found him, and then they're like, right, well, first trial is, can you be killed by a motorbike? Yeah, boy, you can't go to space. There's so many motorbikes in space. You wouldn't last a second. I've got tons more, but I'll finish on this one briefly because I found it funny. Love Island.
Right.
Love Island. For those who don't know, apparently it's quite big in America.
Do you still watch it?
No.
Right.
I can watch it with people.
Yeah.
Because I love insulting anything. You know that.
Yeah.
Kettle. But so I love watching. Yeah, but I don't follow it independently. But there's just something that I found funny. Love Island, for those who don't know, is they get what's American conversion? Because all English people know what it is. American culture. Is there a Survivor?
Yeah.
Say Survivor, Ultimate Survivor.
Maybe Survivor cross with The Bachelor or something.
Yeah. A show like The Bachelor, where there's equal amounts of ridiculously stupid, conventionally attractive male models, and the same with women. And then they just play these sick, twisted games with them where they try and... The winner is whoever's in the long-term relationship by the end, or something like that.
Yeah.
And they just kind of... And the whole thing is they have to share a bed. There's only so many beds. Yeah. So the idea is, maybe we're going to see someone have some stupid, terrible sex.
Is it genuine manipulation, or is it all set up? Are the people in on it?
It's Well, I can't remember whether this is my own opinion or a fact. Let's take it as a bit of both.
Right.
There's producers on the show.
Yeah.
Right. There's people with clipboards because there's no clocks because I don't know whether they can tell time.
Yeah.
But
they got the sun.
They don't have... Yeah, exactly.
Very clever people.
They don't have clocks so that they can kind of like, what's the deal? But the aim of the show is to film people having sex. That's the aim of the show, is to get people to be stupid celebrity Kim Kardashian-y. They want that Paris Hilton night film sex moment.
Right.
That's what they want. So there must be a producer that comes out and go, okay, guys, bedtime. Everyone needs to be in bed now.
I remember you saying this last time.
It has to be. Because that's what they want. And because you have to be like, well, we do it. You've got stuff in the morning. You'll need to be fresh in the morning. We'll send someone around to wake you up in the morning. There'll be a little thing to come around and go, ... wake up. It's 6 a.m. It's daylight. Get out there. We need content.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do. And they're going to do that. So there's got to be somebody who's come out and tells them to do that. So there's got to be... And there have been reports of people who've previously been on the show. A load of them killed themselves because the show's terrible.
Yeah.
I say a load. I think 2.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many seasons there've been, but 2's a lot. And there's people who have previously been on it have said, like, the producers have been like, we could do with some more sex.
Right.
And you go, well, what does that mean? That means they'll probably go, we'll give you a bit of extra money if you have sex.
Isn't that
That's
kind
gotta be
of
what they've got.
prostitution?
Oh, yeah. But it's the show.
Yeah.
And that's what links into this article.
Yeah.
Is people who watch it complained about sexual harassment in the show. Right. They made registered complaints. 700 people made official complaints to the point where it was being investigated by Ofcom, which is a watchdog that investigates these kind of things.
Isn't the act of going on this show consent to sexual harassment?
It's the sexual harassment suicide show. It's what it is.
Feel good stories.
And what, and what it is, and the situation they're talking about isn't that sexual assaulty. I mean, there was in this series apparently where someone kicked somebody in the crotch, and they were kicked off the island. I'd argue that that's sexual assault.
Well, that's assault.
Yeah, in a sexual manner, or whatever, right? This one was a girl persistently trying to kiss somebody who was actively saying no.
Okay.
And not in a heightenedly physical way, but was like, no, I've got a girlfriend on the island already. You know, I'm not sure about this. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's basically the show.
Right.
And she kept on doing it, and people are like, that's, you know, she's harassing him. That's unfair.
Yeah.
And so Ofcom basically said, where is it? The Broadcasting Watchdog has said it assessed the complaints, taking into account the context of the situation, and will not be investigating.
Good. Well done, Ofcom.
This is the sexual harassment suicide show.
What did
This
you
is what
expect
it is.
to see?
Yeah, it's such, yeah. That's what the show is.
Yeah.
The show is trying to motivate people financially to get into relationships and then fucking with them.
Yeah.
By then forcing them to split up and introducing new people and then saying, well, if you sleep with that person, then maybe something will happen and this kind of stupid thing. And they're all so desperate to try and get famous in some way.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I can think people go on this show is to become celebrities.
Yeah,
They've
it's the
become
same
Kim
as
Kardashian.
it's the same thing as was always with Big Brother. Like the first couple of series of Big Brothers left people with like lifelong careers after that, like TV presenters and all kinds of stuff. Like Brian Dowling still presents stuff. Craig, who won the first series, like he's like a nationally renowned handyman. Like he's got sponsorships by a load of products, and it's 20 years later.
He's the best handyman.
Well, like he's on like one of those DIY SOS shows or some shit like that, and he's been doing that for years. And he's like, as at the Tim Allen place, like there's pictures of him all over bottles of shit, like all over the place.
Oh, really?
Like he's like well renowned, and it petered off after a few years, but people still carried on expecting that same kind of
that and
result.
The more social media-y Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton. They want that.
Yeah, well,
and
now it's like, well, if I go on this, I might get a couple of million Instagram followers.
Yeah, well, I think the woman who's the center of these accusations, I think is like, I haven't watched it since this happened, which is like weeks ago, but apparently she's like one of the favorites. I think Amy Schumer has like said that she's inspired by her. So she's already getting some celebrity attention.
Yeah.
Catherine Ryan has also said that this particular woman, Maura, I think is her name, is like a feminist icon or so. So she's getting a lot of already getting celebrity attention. Yeah. So you can see like with all these celebrities, I mean, they're all comedians, but in my eyes, comedians are probably the most valid. Yeah. Just because I'm stupid. To be like, oh yeah, like this person's already getting attention, already getting all these Instagram things. Go like, yeah, it's people are motivated by it. It's just such a strange. It's reality TV.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and it's just This sums it up for me. When you're evicted from the island, you're not evicted from the island, you're dumped by the island. And everyone has to say it. And that's just how it is. Whenever any of them get a text from the Love Island phone, they have to announce it with all the hashtags. They've got clothing lines for Love Island. They've got Love Island's scratch cards. Yeah. It's such a weird thing.
See, all this kind of shit is why I just don't watch terrestrial TV anymore. It's just like
it's just a weird.
That whole thing is just the epitome of it for me, and I was just like, every show is this now, and I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
These are the shows that everybody's talking about, and I don't want to be in this conversation.
I just don't watch it on principle. I just don't have. I think it's like 120 quid a year for a TV license.
Yeah.
And I don't watch. There's not that many shows on terrestrial TV that I would watch for 120 quid.
No.
There's been a few that I've been like, oh, actually, that'd be quite good to watch. But I just watch them later on when they get released on Netflix.
Yeah.
I have Netflix and Amazon. I just watch stuff on there. It's like, it's more than enough for me.
Yeah.
Just a weird thing. And yeah, it's definitely. I'm glad that they didn't investigate because they were like, oh, this is the island where everyone, fucks each other and people film it and then they commit suicide.
Yeah.
Hey, sexual assault away. What the fuck do you want us to do about it?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's. I think I'll leave it there for me this week. Others will end up doing 3 episodes.
Oh, Jesus. No, not that. Oh.
Steve's collection of useless meanderings. Scum.
Lady Gaga has a genus of 19 species of ferns named after her.
Lady? As in the ferns are named Lady?
Maybe after her actual name. I don't know what her actual name is.
Karen.
I should. She seems like a Karen.
Karen got a good poker face.
Yeah.
All right, Karen.
Karen can never tell what she's thinking.
Is she singing or is she tuning or is she being auto-tuned? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got nothing against Lady Gaga.
No. I actually think she's one of the talented, ones of those popular singers.
Fair enough.
I've seen her. I've seen
ferns.
I've seen certain performances where she's done where it's just like her singing and a piano, and she's very good. Talent-wise, it's not my kind of music, but she is very good at what she does. Yeah, ferns. Don't get it.
Was she involved in this? Or people just grew new species of fern and then just linked it to Lady Gaga.
That's the thing. I think maybe it's a hive mind thing. Maybe there's just a bunch of people that grew a fern and then were like, that reminds me of Lady Gaga, but just all independently. So maybe she just looks like a fern somehow.
Maybe she reacts well to the sun.
Yeah, well, to dappled light.
Oh. Well, it's like I imagine it was after the Second World War. It might have been before.
Lady Gaga, yeah.
where villages started becoming related to other villages.
Yeah, twinned with
with somewhere else.
Yeah.
And every time I see it, it's just, why is this? It's just, and it will be like Stoke-on-Trent, twinned with Berlin.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, why? There must have been something.
Yeah.
There must have been some touristy thing or some incentive to be like, oh, if you go to Berlin, then you get this. They do it with much, much smaller villages.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some kind of link.
That's the thing. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what they get off each other. But there's one about 5 minutes from my mum and dad's house, and it's the whole village is one strip of about 8 houses, and it's called Dunkirk. And it's linked with Dunkirk.
Lots of people who really want to leave, but can't. And they just die.
Dunkirk twinned with Dunkirk.
Now, if I was to make a guess, I'd say that it was after the Second World War, and in trying to rebuild Dunkirk in Britain, they also they sent care packages.
Yeah.
You remember you used to send a shoebox?
Yeah.
Something as a kid.
Yeah.
Shoebox to somewhere.
To Africa.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah.
They probably did that in Europe to help rebuild.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, well, we sent our care packages to the other Dunkirk. They sent us, because they're much bigger than we are. We've got too much food now. 8 houses have got a city's worth of villages or cliff's worth of fresh saltwater clams.
Yeah. Rotten.
I wish Dunkirk would stop sending us our dead. Shoeboxes.
Secret funerals.
Maybe it was that. Maybe Lady Gaga has been twinned with all these ferns.
With all these ferns. 19 of them. I have 19 twins. That's not a twin.
That's an awkward Christmas. I'm always overshadowed. Oh, the ferns.
What did you get? Soil.
What I got all of them, just my year's worth of manure.
Yeah.
And I thought that was lovely and caring.
Yeah.
And they just gave me a vague wave.
Yeah. I think they're all bitter. Like, she's our older sister. She's the famous one. She can play piano.
She won't wear a fern dress, but she'll wear a meat dress. Way to represent the family, sis.
Yeah.
You think they would have twinned with Fern Cotton? Maybe she's not as big.
Wrong kind of fern.
What is she famous for, Fern Cotton?
She's a presenter.
Radio host?
Yeah, she well, when we were kids, she used to present kids' TV. She presented Dig It on a Saturday morning.
Do you remember Big Breakfast?
Yeah.
Was that a big thing?
I always felt like it was.
I always felt that this was the adult breakfast show. Like, adults woke up and watched this.
It's weird, yeah.
But I reckon it was just kids.
It felt like a party every morning. Because it was just like, well, we convert this house into a place where all these celebrities come round, and there's these two puppets for some reason.
There was puppets?
Zig and Zag.
I don't remember that bit.
And then
I remember very little of it. Just remember it being...
And then it's even more a party household when the BBC sack Richard Bacon from Blue Peter for doing coke, and Big Breakfast are like, yes!
This is where the cokeheads are at!
We're taking this guy.
That's a big breakfast. Start the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had like less... they had more adult humour on it. But looking back on it, it might have just been, I'm in secondary school now. I don't watch CBeebies anymore.
Yeah.
I watch Big Breakfast. And it was on like Channel 4 or something like that. And that's where Ulrika Johnson.
Yes.
That's the only way I remember her.
Yeah.
This is from Shooting Stars.
Yeah.
I think she was on it.
She was on it. Chris Evans was on it. Richard Bacon was on it.
Yeah.
And there was...
Some black-haired who looked like Paddy McGuinness, I think. Someone of that look.
Oh, Johnny Vaughan.
Johnny Vaughan, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he looks like, but I remember the name.
He's got no hair now, but he presents a radio, so...
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that being a big
Radio
thing.
X, I think.
Was Fern Cotton on that? Maybe not. Actually.
I don't think so. No, she was on Dig It on like Saturday morning, which was aired before SMTV Live. And then she went to because she was still like in her teens when she was presenting that, like late teens. And then as she got older, she went on to all the shows.
She didn't do enough coke to be put on the Big Breakfast.
No. Yeah.
Bacon, and if she went, there wouldn't be any left because Bacon was. Here's one I fucking did earlier.
Yeah, but she
kids' daytime
presented radio and married a Rolling Stone. Well, a Rolling Stone's son.
Oh, fair enough.
I think the guitarist. Yeah, Ronnie Wood's son. I think
the rhythm guitarist.
Yeah,
or the bassist.
I can't remember.
Bassist. Keith Richards was the guitarist.
Yeah. So it'll be the bassist.
I met Ronnie Wood once. It was weird.
Oh, your O2 gigs?
No, I was just at working at a music a restaurant that I worked at. Apparently, he's quite a regular there.
Oh, right.
You're right, but strange. He shouldn't exist. None of the Rolling Stones should exist.
No.
And so seeing them in person is like, you're alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Cool. All right. He's there with his wife, who's like, you don't look like me, but you look like my age.
Yeah.
There was that kind of like, wow, this is,
yeah.
Hey, fair, you're alive.
Yeah.
Keep
Good
going.
on you. Well done.
Keep on doing everything.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right.
Sorry.
The Soviet Union had an internationally televised song contest, but as very few viewers actually had phones, they would instead turn their lights on if they liked a song and off if they didn't. The power spikes were recorded by the state energy company and the reports sent through to the TV stations.
Oh, okay.
Not just like guys with binoculars on the roof. And like,
let's see what people thought of that. And he just turns through a window. Flash, flash, flash. Flash, flash, flash. That nuclear submarine's on fire.
But now does he like the song?
No, it's fine. Yeah. Is fire good? Is nuclear bad?
Yeah. I don't know. SOS. Is that a yes?
That's a yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're through to the next round. Nuclear reactor falling through.
It's just such a novel way of doing it. Our people can't afford phones because of our country. Yeah. So just turn your lights on. We'll figure out a method.
Yeah, be a way.
Yeah.
To get that through. That's strange.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
The this isn't... Well, maybe it's funny, I don't know. If ripening cherries are not dried after it rains, they will soak up the water and split and then cannot be picked or sold. To combat this, helicopters are used to slowly manoeuvre 5 feet over the trees as their rotors blast the water off the cherries. This is part of the reasons why it's so expensive. So,
I'm thinking about growing cherries.
Yeah.
Well, get a helicopter.
Get a helicopter license.
All right.
Yeah.
Why? Well, to gently blow the water off the cherries.
I've got my license. Now I can start living my life. It's like, well, you're on cherry duty.
You imagine, like, getting a bit of land, living off the fat of the land, you know, growing grapes and, like, oh, this really carbic thing. Meanwhile, it's really... Those, like, warning lights because you're going down, you're too close to the floor. What? Oh, Jerry's out cherry picking again. Tell my children I love them.
You're flying 5 feet above a cherry tree. Like, you're probably not high enough to die. You could jump out of that and be fine.
If you're 5 feet above a cherry tree, I'd argue that some helicopters are shorter than 5 feet. Yeah. So, like, you can't get to... In order to get to the ones in the centre, you'd have to lift up and, like, go up, do a flip or something. Because you can't... They just have to be a certain height to get through. So you'd have to... I imagine you have to do some pretty insane logistical moves.
It's either going to be nuts or really dull.
Yeah.
Like, I got my license for this. Ugh. Yeah. Back on the cherries. Yeah.
Can't we just grow them indoors? No. What about glass? I've got a helicopter.
This seemed like a much better idea.
I bought the helicopter before I thought about a greenhouse. Can't we just grow tomatoes? Make loads of chili? Fine, I've got the helicopter. We're a cherry family now. Cherries and helicopters, that's my legacy.
Just every time it rains, just...
Oh, no. Can't we just get air conditioning?
Yeah.
Not now that we've got a helicopter.
Yeah. I can't pronounce this guy's name, but I'll try. Michael Vigil, a French convict jailed in 1986 for attempted murder and armed robbery, forced his way onto the prison's roof by wielding nectarines that were painted to look like grenades. His wife then picked him up in a helicopter and whisked him away.
I've got a grenade! Where would we have gotten a grenade?
Yeah.
Where's all the nectarine? They don't have grenades in prisons.
No, I guess not.
It makes no sense. If they do, they shouldn't.
Yeah, it was 1986, so maybe they didn't.
Maybe they did.
Maybe they didn't know any better. Maybe smuggling was a lot easier back then. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, you could argue that they probably smuggled them in.
Or
maybe.
Just painted a load of nectarines.
Well, again, it's that whole thing about, like, if you work for a bank and you're getting robbed, just go with it. Like, you're insured.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to lose your job or get blown up by nectarines. So it's like, yeah, take it.
Yeah.
We'll find you.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to a nearby cherry farm. Just check them all out.
That's a wife, though, man.
Nectarines.
Like, that's like...
Takes a break from cherry farming.
Yeah.
Comes and picks you up from prison.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's...
Smuggles nectarines into prison for you.
That's the kind
and a marker pen.
That's the kind of commitment that you want from a wife. Married a murderer, stuck with it till the end. Like, doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll get you out of prison. Where's the helicopter?
Teaches him how to draw.
Yeah.
Sits down and be like, oh, you know, grenades have got, you know, you really want to go for like a World War I grenade.
Yeah.
They were more nectarine-like.
And you got to. It's all about the shading, but you got to hold them as such so it doesn't look too D. Right. Yeah.
Don't let them too near it. They'll smell it and know it. Grenades don't smell like nectarines.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this.
Yeah. I'm a helicopter pilot. I know a lot about fruit.
Yeah, they're very important. Yeah. Don't get a cherry wet. That's lesson 1 of helicopter school. Don't get cherries wet.
And finally, which one? I'll do this one. In 1508, a French town tried to convict the local rats of destroying their crops. A lawyer successfully defended the rats by first arguing that court summons must be given to each individual rat, and then arguing that it was too dangerous for them to come to trial due to the cats in town.
Your Honor, I don't... it's French.
Where was it?
Your Honor. Does every rat have... I can't do French. No, does every rat have an invitation? I don't see them. I mean, there's one there, but I don't think that's what you're talking about. And then what? You want them to brave the beautiful cats that we have? This doesn't seem very, very French.
Yeah, these aren't the right conditions. Like, this is cruelty. And this was in 1508. Like, where they don't give a fuck about cruelty or anything.
There was laws. There was summons.
Yeah.
Summoned to court on paper. That seems weird. I mean, it's probably obviously true.
Yeah.
But I, for some reason, think that there wasn't really paper till 1700.
Yeah.
I don't know why I think that.
No, there was.
Well, Stonehenge was like 98, wasn't it?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Just a load of beatniks. Hey,
21 years. Yeah.
Henge.
Yeah.
And this made a couple of rocks.
Yeah.
Chiseled in stone to every rat. Come to court, you prick.
Yeah.
Well, when were the Vikings? They were 1066, weren't they? Around then. 864.
That was the Fire of London.
No, it wasn't. 1066 was the Battle of Hastings.
Was it? Oh, right. Okay.
Was that the Norman invasion or was that the Viking invasion? I think it was the Norman
That was the
invasion.
Normans.
I think Vikings were like 860 AD.
Okay.
Something like that.
Which isn't as long ago as you think it is. Like, when I think Vikings, I
Pretty
don't...
far, but yeah.
But it's still... I don't know. It's like when you say, like... so, the ancient Egyptians were around at the same time as mammoths. Like, there were mammoths roaming around in Russia while the ancient Egyptians were knocking about. But like, there's something about those timelines that just seems really off with everything that you've learned and everything. And I think it's because, like, you link mammoths to, like, dinosaurs and shit.
Yeah. Well, ancient Egyptians, there was like a whole period before history when it was ancient history.
Yeah.
So like, what the fuck happened between then and then? Probably nothing. Just people going, oh God, when can I die?
Yeah.
I'm dead. Hooray. And then other people can suffer life. Somewhat pessimistic view on life.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was, from the show Vikings, there were French people.
Okay.
Charlemagne.
Yeah.
Was around that. Yeah, Charlemagne was around that time. Well, I know all of this from computer games. So I don't no idea if it's true.
I installed that again
Europa.
this week. I haven't played it yet. Probably not going to. Really, really bad idea.
If you don't do Europa, that was the big one for me. That was just like, oh my God, it's like Civ, but just on more statistics. And there's more grand strategy. And there's so much more. It's a horrible game to start because there's so much stuff you need to know that you just don't. And you're like, oh, do this. Oh, it's the end. What happened? You don't know. Just figure it out over horrendous times of pain.
Oof.
It's good though. Once you know what you're doing, it's brilliant.
Okay.
But yeah, the Charlemagne was like pre-1000, pre-1200 at least.
Yeah.
And they had paper, must have.
Yeah.
They did in Vikings.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right.
That's how that worked.
Good.
So yeah, paper.
History of paper.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, in some, not even like that an eventful a week, but just an active week.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brain reactivated.
Good.
Start getting back. I need to find I was just curious about the diet thing. I need to get healthier anyway. I was just curious about that. So I'll try it. But yeah, mentally more active. So just trying to get back into productivity, and that will lead to more healthy stuff.
Yeah.
To do more things. Because we still want to do creative outlets more so of different kinds. Yeah. Just exploring around. And having energy to put actually into social media was weird. And hopefully that's a good thing, and try and stick with that and try and be active in it a bit more. Yeah. So fun times. Cool. So if you want to know more, I'm at Nick Snip on Twitter, and we're at Pulling Teeth Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, I'm at Sing It Steve on Twitter and Instagram, mostly Instagram. And we're wisdom at pullingteethpodcast.com. Yeah. We've got a Facebook page. We're on YouTube. If you haven't seen this, check us out. Give us a subscribe. Give us a like. Just give us a comment. Just say something stupid.
Yeah.
Really, we don't care. We thrive off of riffing. So we just love to just interact with people.
Yeah. So particularly negative attention. It's great.
Yeah, it's fine. Same with like iTunes reviews. Apparently, they're really important.
Yeah.
And they're really good. If you want to show us some love, throw us an iTunes review.
That'd be awesome.
Or subscribe to us on YouTube, and that'd be great. Other than that,
I've petered out. I've gotten really tired now.
Have you?
Yeah.
I'm still high off the no sugar.
It's gotten warm. I feel warm. Do you feel warm?
It's warmed up a little bit, but it's nowhere near bad.
Okay.
It's all good. I'm still riffing off of, Robert Paul champagne.
All right.
There's a whole story. You have to at least watch the documentary. I think it's called Home Here Now, but if you search for Robert Paul champagne, there's a 30-minute documentary. He's amazing. Josh Potter's amazing.
All right.
And Your Mum's House podcast in itself is amazing. So check it out. It's amazing. That's what podcasting is.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. That was 1:45.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah.